So my best friend has a chicken coop in need of a door. Since it's going to be made out of pressure treated lumber and it's a full-size door, it's 80 inches by 30 inches wide, and it's going to be heavy. So I wanted the joints to be really strong, and I decided half flaps was the way to go. Crashed. It's very windy today, sorry. Half flaps and 2x4s. I'm going to show you how some of the footage of how I did that. I tried to film as much of it as I could. You'll get the general idea. Even without angle braces, you know, I would trust this joint to hold up from now on. It's glued with polyurethane glue and screwed also. So I'll show you how I did that, and it turned out great. So I'll make a mark, and then I'll set my marking gauge to 3/4, and I'll do that right from here. I'm going to set that undersized just a little bit, and then I'll tap the end of it to tighten it up real good. I'm going to be using this square as a guide for when I'm making the cut, so I'll make sure it's good and straight and square. And so to do that, with this kind of skill saw, the motor is right in the way. It'll bump into the lip on the square, so I'm going to have to set this base to just clear that. And it so happens to work out that that's just about almost exactly the depth you need to cut through a 2x4 anyway. This is the door all put together. It's glued and screwed. I used polyurethane glue. The joints aren't perfect, but it's a chicken house door, so I'm not bothered about it. But this is going to be a very strong door. So now what I'm doing is putting in the middle rail, and what I've done is I've made sort of pocket holes for the screws. I'm just toenailing this in. I was going to half lap this too, but the joints are so strong I'm not worried about this. This is really a perfect example of where pocket hole screws are useful, you know, just for ease of installation. I put this middle rail in with no clamps. I don't have any clamps here. And you'll see I left them all a little bit loose like that until they were all in. The board is secure. Now I'll go around and tighten them all up.